Many people are often in psychological conflict between individuality and societal expectations. Thus, due to not knowing any better, or sometimes out of the audacity of thinking that they do, many tout these norms and expectations as the one single version of the truth. Oftentimes, we are judged by them, driving many to sacrifice the happiness they can attain as unique individuals for the rule of society that do not really matter in the grand scheme of things, and that many do not even sincerely follow themselves. Well, here's what I say. Flout their tout. A wise person once said, "Don't base your decisions on the advice of those who don't have to deal with your issues." The fact that you have remained single for a long time, especially if you're a woman, is often viewed as some kind of stigma in many parts of the world, even in the so-called liberal parts of society. But I'm here to tell you that regardless of what your relationship status is, and in fact, and now I'm ad-libbing, irrespective of what your status, your age, your phase of life is, you are in an enviable position because you have the opportunity to write a new script for yourself, to create a beautiful, wonderful, and fulfilling life. So no, do not keep your head down. That is the last thing that you should do. Do not compare your life to others. You have no idea what their journey is all about, Woody Hayes said. My name is Adefunke Adeyemi, or Funke for short. I'm an advocate and I'm the regional director for the International Air Transport Association in Africa, looking after external affairs and sustainability. So I have to confess that this was not the first book that I thought I had in me. Many people who know me know that I can be quite academic, and the work that I've been doing over the years as a lawyer, I'm a lawyer, and also the work I've been doing over the years has lent itself to policy issues, economics, aviation, trends, and things like that. So I thought that I was going to write something academic. I'm also a Pan-African, so I'm really, really passionate about Africa and how we can seamlessly connect the continent and integrate it better. So I also have that in me. And yes, I will get there one day, but I didn't think that this was the first message that I was going to write in the form of a book. So it was a particular incident that sparked this off. And it was an issue that someone who was very close to me did that I thought was really disillusioning and, somewhat disturbing at the time. Not going into details, but basically it was just a question of me not understanding that, we were not on the same page, right? And so it became something that I needed to deal with and cope with. And typically, when I have something and I'm dealing with that's ruminating in my mind, I write. I've always loved words, and I've been reading voraciously since the age of 5. I read everything in my father's library, including encyclopedias and things like that. So I've always loved words. I love the power of words. I love the way that they evoke emotion, the way that they can make you escape, the way they can transport you to different places. And so, the natural home for me to cope with the emotions I was dealing with from that incident was to write something down. It also coincided with the time that I was traveling on a business trip. And so once I got on the plane, I just started dumping my thoughts, just started putting stuff down on my laptop. So it started out as a dump, right? Just to cope with a particular incident. But then as I was on that business trip, I started to think about it more and more as a message that the world needed to hear. And so on that trip, within 36 hours, I had banged out the first 3 chapters of the book. Now that was in 2016. So this has been a 5-year journey. I launched it, I finished it in 2021 and launched, the first few days in 2022. So it took 5 years. So I have to tell you, it's been overwhelming and very, very surprising. And I know the question you're asking, I'm going to answer that. But it's been overwhelming. A lot of people who have read the book. I mean, even the most unlikely people. I was just telling someone in the store before we started that a 79-year-old woman, my friend's mother, read the book and said, wow, I'm so excited by this book. And it's inspired me to pick up my life again at 79. So I was really blown away by that. So many different reviews. Someone said, oh, I've given it to my mentees and they're raving all about it. So many people say that they can relate to the message of the book. And now, so to your question, the simple message of the book is this, that no matter what age or phase or stage or relationship status you're in life, it's incumbent on you to, first of all, be unapologetically yourself. Secondly, to live the best life that we're called to do, because we're not called here for anything else but first and foremost to be our best selves, and then to add on to that, be doing other things. And the other thing is that we're supposed to be using the totality of ourselves, and this is my own personal firm opinion, that we're to use the totality of ourselves, our gifts, our physical abilities, our talents, our passion, our interests, our experience, our exposure, everything that we have the opportunity to experience to impact the world positively around us. And the catch is, why not do this when you're either, one, single from the lens of never being married, or that you have been down that road and you're not anymore, or from the lens of someone who is called singular, which is the title of the book. And what do I mean by singular? It's such a wide and broad category. Did you know that empty nesters are singulars? Their children have gone off to boarding school, or they've gone off to school or university, or they're starting out in life. And now you're home alone or home with your partner. And perhaps, you focus so much of your time and attention on them, which is a laudable thing and it's wonderful. But now what? What do you do? So you have time on your hands. And so perhaps you've put off some of your dreams, your own personal objectives and goals for your own life in order to do that. So it's now time for you to get back to it. Did you also know that it is for people who have been bereaved? You've lost your spouse, that relationship has ended. So what next? What do you do? My mom is in this category and I talked to her about it, and she gets it. She understands what this message is about. And there's so many in there. But it's not just about women, it's men too. Now to the literary world, I'm so impressed, honestly. Like there's a boom of writers all around. I mean, before now, we know that some of the greats have come from Nigeria and Africa. We have, Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka, Buchi Emecheta, Ben Okri. There's so many of them that have been absolutely fantastic. One of my favorite books is So Long a Letter by Miriam Abba, a Senegalese writer, a forerunner of her time, a pace setter, a female writer talking about constraints of a Muslim religious society and how she survived that. So there's so many wonderful examples and legacy examples to choose from. But more recently, there's been so much going on in the literary space. And I think we have some of our very prominent writers to thank for that. Like Chimamanda Adichie. She's done a great job putting writing by women and writing by Africans on the global stage. And I think that's really opened the door for a lot of people to think, well, I can do this too. If I feel like this is a passion for me or this is something that I'm interested in, then I can do it. So there's a lot of inspiration out there, but there can be a lot more. I know that so many people have stories within them that they want to tell. A lot of people don't know how to go about it. And I guess the message there is, you just start, start with your thoughts. Don't worry about the words, don't worry about format. Just start with putting your thoughts down, and then you can start to create, the structure around it. But if you have a story to tell inside you, go for it.
Telephone switch to on, light on.
Switching commander internal. Expectedly back, DW. Fuel tank pressure 60 on 55. You're now state with back and is perfect.